Hello everybody, once again anybody. This is day 2 of my road to being a millionaire day trader. We had a banger trade today. We had one small scalp for 55 points and then one banger that ended up running to 211 points. Ended up with a total profit of 1.6k today on the eval. I made 189 yesterday. So these are the first 2 days on the eval challenge. I need to make 6k without losing 3, and right now I'm up 1.8. So decent start to the challenge, but these aren't the days that I should be taking full pride in. I need to be taking more pride in the days when the markets aren't giving A+ setups like this, and when I try to force trades is when I need to sit on my hands. Those are the days I should be proud of, because that's when I end up blowing my account or taking stupid trades and losing stupid money for no reason. But either way, we took advantage of the opportunities the market provided to us today. Let me actually get into the live recordings first. Move that over. Buddy is locked in here, bro. Bro, I'm way too zoomed in on it. We end up taking this inverse. Hesitating about scalping a short there, but we tap the 5 minute. We come back up and tap the inverse that we created. So I just go ahead and say, fuck it, we ball. We're taking a scalp here to the recent low.
I do, hopefully.
Right here. So, actually, I was watching ES on the left screen, as you can see. Or no, on my right screen, actually. I end up pulling my TP when ES ends up taking this low. Pull 4 off there, move 1 to break even. And then
We're going to reverse it all at 10 a.m.
Yeah, it's closing because we tapped the 1 hour. We tapped the hour. This was a daily for value gap right here, so we should run off this, right? And then we have 10 a.m. news, and it's 9:57 right now. So then news candle ends up coming in. We end up getting change in state here. End up respecting it, and then coming down into this 1 minute, and that's where I ended up getting my entry right at 168 level. Stops below, stops for about 40 some odd points, or 50. First TP about 40 points up, taking 2 off, ends up hitting there, and then we end up inversing this 5 minute, holding 5 minute change in state there. Honestly, just such a clean trade. Second TP was 130 points up. Oh, I didn't realize I'm still covering myself. Not covering myself. Okay. Takes a little bit because the ES was lagging. ES was actually still holding the 5 minute and 15 minute there, while NQ was starting to push up towards that internal liquidity. And there's also a 15 minute for value gap there. So I end up taking majority off and letting 1 run here. And then runner just ends up cooking so hard. The 1 hour inverse right above equilibrium in the -2 to 2.5 range. See it just slowly making its way. Yeah, we end up really chopping here. Chop, chop, chop. And then macro, it ends up carrying it up after 1 more chop. Yeah, this is the move. I ended up stepping away and going for a walk here. And then came back. TP smashed. So yeah, the two trades I had today. 1.6k profit on the day. Yeah, overall, really good day. Price action was there. We were moving. Hella really volatile today.
I guess one of the topics we could start out with. I guess I'll start. What to you is trading? Like what is the reason that you do it? Because when people do things, they have like a meaning, like a reason for why they do them. They have like, I guess maybe this fantasy of it going a certain way, or they people don't work a 9 to 5 because they per se enjoy it, but they have a vision of what it's going to bring to them, and that is, I guess for them, it's like living your life comfortably.
So I mean, to answer that, for a long time, mainly just focused on money and the freedom that this job brings. Honestly, like just being able to be anywhere in the world. Like I traded in France, and just being able to see the opportunities aligned with this. That's where originally my mind always gravitated towards as my main motivation and reason. But right now it's conquering oneself and one's emotions. Because if I can conquer my emotions in the market, and I've noticed that as I'm trying to do that and focusing more and more on it, I start doing stuff that aligns with that outside of trading hours and outside of the charts. I start thinking in a more structured and trying to be more disciplined to help build it in the markets, and that just creates a better man out of myself.
Yeah. So to you is basically like this thing that can basically. Yeah. Okay. So basically, almost like anything that you're committed to, you can really. The goal here with you is to be the best at this certain thing. You're trying to focus more on, let's say, mastering the skill, as opposed to reaping the benefits of mastering that skill.
Right. I mean, originally, mainly benefit and outcome driven, but right now, the outcome is the person I become.
Yeah.
And all that other shit comes with it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of like the big barrier, right? I think is the mindset behind it, the thing that people want the most out of trading. I mean, they want the riches and the glory or whatever of it, but
your desire to make money stops you from actually doing it.
Yeah, exactly, because that's your focus, and you're not seeing. You end up seeing things. I mean, I know you and me have both experienced it where. I mean, we kind of did it yesterday where we saw something that just wasn't quite there. I mean, for you it was more so there than me, but...
Okay, I feel like it was there. Looking back,
yeah,
there was just confluence. It was just...
It was there for sure, but... It was there for sure. It was just, I guess, like the timing of it, That was something... Yeah. Especially on my end, I could have...
Like, I could have waited to see what more we ended up reacting. That's what I did today.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't get in off of that change in state immediately. I waited for it to dip down into the 1 minute, and then seeing how it respected, it ended up wicking really hard, and then I just entered. Came down back a little bit, and then ended up running.
Yeah. Yeah, that's more just... Yeah, exactly. That's a thing where doing things like this can help out. Yeah. Do you have, like... I guess that kind of answers my question then, what to you what it is, I definitely think, though, you kind of do have to keep that, what it can bring in mind, because, like, that can, in a sense, also motivate you, though. Like, you can't let that be your focus, but...
It helps keep you on the path and see the vision ahead.
Yeah, exactly.
Money is a motivator. 100%.
Oh yeah, I mean you don't trade because like nobody trades because like they don't like the money,
Yeah, nobody starts trading not trying to get money.
Yeah, but but making the skill, the learning aspect of it a priority, forever being a student, that's kind of where,
And that's kind of what you need
you know,
to do in
that's
the
at.
markets, honestly. That right there, just forever be a student. Because you're always sitting down and analyzing, so in a way listening to what you're being presented. And then you make actions and decisions based off of what you're being presented.
Yeah. I mean, we're literally trying to read algorithms here. That shit ain't fucking easy.
Yeah.
Like, off of candlesticks, we're trying to read algorithms, which it works. I mean, we time in and time out, the things that we see. Yeah, but they happen over and over again too. These things, these lines, and like, so it's repeatable. It's just
maybe one day, but bro, ICT concepts work, so why?
Yeah, they do. I see people hating on them, like that Brandon dude I was talking to you about, or I told you about. He literally said in his comments like, "Fuck ICT." I'm like, bro, what? Why? It works.
I think there's just so many different strategies that genuinely do work if you stay with a certain rule regimen and stick with it.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day,
work.
Yeah, it's all how you interpret the algorithm. That's literally all it is. How do you interpret it? Because at the end of the day, the best traders make their own strategy, right?
That is true. Most of them stem from something than add.
Yeah.
But
that's probably what I'm gonna like. If once this shit, like, if I go somewhere, that's what I would do. Make my own strategy.
Yeah, but also you don't want to. But you could back test it and forward test it without even really risking money.
Yeah, no risk. Yeah, that's how I got good at this shit. I haven't risked a single dollar technically. I mean,
yeah, just
funded accounts, I guess, but.
But you physically didn't risk a single dollar in the market.
Yeah, exactly.
You want me to go into?
Yeah, you got it, bro. Yeah.
All right.
I know you got shit if you want to talk about, so let's get this.
This one's a bit long and just kind of was mainly a dive of my thoughts off of a quote. So, the quote's by Epictetus. Or no. Is that how you say it? Epictetus? I think so.
I wouldn't know, bro. Mythology was not my expertise, bro.
Hey, he's a stoic. Alright, so the quote goes, "The proper work of the mind is the exercise of choice, refusal, yearning, repulsion, preparation, purpose, and assent. What then can pollute and clog the mind's proper functioning? Nothing but its own corrupt decisions." So, basically, moral of that is you control your mind, and that's the only thing you can control. You either make yourself worse or make yourself better. With every single decision, they are all accounted for. And so I went through basically the 7 clear functions that he talked about: the choice, refusal, yearning, repulsion, preparation, purpose, assent. All of them in trading. I said for choice, you choose to enter or not enter a trade. You choose to close, you choose to take partials, etc. Refusal, refusing to fall to the temptation of your emotions. Yearning, to be better and consistent. Repulsion, to fearing outcomes from the market. Preparation, marking charts, finding highs, drawing liquidity, measuring risk before getting into trades. Purpose, who are we? What are we trying to accomplish in the markets? Is our purpose simply for money, or is there something greater than that, which we just touched on? And I said freedom, conquering one's mind.
Okay.
Assent, to be free from things that are inside and outside of our control. And then in terms of life, those things are, for choice, you do and think what's righteous. Refusal of temptations, anything that will poison your mind. Yearning, to be a better version of you. repulsion of negativity, bad influences, preparation for things to come in your future. If you don't prepare now, you don't know when it's going to be too late. On the other hand, don't be afraid to start and think it's already too late. Just don't take your foot off the gas once you start.
Mm.
Purpose, our reason, our why, ascent, to be free of what's inside and outside of our control.
So
I just thought those 7 functions of the mind, you can apply to virtually anything in this world that you're trying to do.
yeah, I mean, I think I agree. Like, because when you talk about these emotions, you have to talk about them like kind of in a similar light, in the sense of like you want to talk about them in a sense that pushes you towards your higher goal. Like, you were talking about like repulsion and shit, and like you were saying like you said something about like repulse, like negative thoughts, right, and stuff like that.
Interfering outcomes from the market and
yeah,
negativity.
Okay, yeah. So negativity then, basically, yeah. So that's, you're basically taking something that's in essence is not a good thing, like repulsion. Like, that's such a bad thing, but then you're turning it into something that can benefit you when like you repulse that negativity.
Yeah, you can definitely use it for the good.
Yeah, and that's the thing. These are, so it really is about how you look at the situation then.
That's what Stoicism mainly teaches, is it's all interpretation of the mind. That's the only thing you have control over. Any circumstance, anything, you only truly have control over your mind and what you do.
Do you think like perspective and like control of the mind go hand in hand, or do you think like there are separate things? Because the way I see something, isn't the way you see it, right?
Well,
but we can still see the same thing.
Yeah, perspective is basically the mind's interpretation, is what perspective is. So, they do go hand in hand pretty much.
Okay. Well, then here's an argument. We do. So I'm just playing devil's advocate at this point. I do agree with you, but basically, like, a lot of times when we do things, we know that they're good or bad. Think about it like this, right? If you're about to take a trade, right, and you think to yourself, is this what a profitable trader would do, right?
And you have to take that step back, like you just said. You have to think, is this what a profitable trader would do?
Yeah.
You have to step back and think that when your emotions get to you right away. You just have to step back and process it.
Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So that. But then again, would that bring perspective and I guess not necessarily reality, but like perspective and wait, what was it? Fuck, I lost my train of thought. Oh fuck, dude, I completely lost it.
I'm trying to think to help you out.
Wait. So we were talking about perspective in relation to what?
Controlling one's mind, I guess.
Oh yeah. How your mind interprets everything, right? Well, our mind sometimes, but you ever feel like you have a mind of your own, like, or your brain has like a mind of its own, like, something isn't good or that you shouldn't do it, but you do it anyway, like,
just do it right away.
No.
And do it anyway.
No thought, right? You take a trade that a profitable trader wouldn't take. You know that this isn't the correct thing to do, but yet you do it anyway.
Yeah, I've fallen down that trap many times.
I have too. Yeah.
It simply just taking that step back every time you get that impulse. Just thinking, is this what a profitable trader would do? But like you said, you can end up having your mind so twisted that you convince yourself that's what a profitable trader would do. You hit the button and it's a shitty execution, and there's in reality no setup. But if you're truthful in your mind and to yourself, you know your criteria. You know what makes a good setup, what makes a bad one.
Right.
So as long as you stay honest with yourself and take that step back and be honest.
that is a very interesting thing to mention, is honesty about it. Like, you can't really you can't really progress if you're not okay with your failure, you know. And a lot of people,
Right.
they look at their failures and they're not okay with that. They're like, damn, I fucked up, man. Like, and they don't really take it as a lesson. They take of it as a loss, you know. Just because you took an L doesn't mean it's a loss.
And
It's
then
a
that
lesson.
that keeps you down. That's another one of those perspective
Yes.
things. Like, it's just, you have to look.
Mm-hmm.
You have to look at everything in a way that it will benefit you. Sure, that might be
Yeah.
selfish, or some people might say that's wrong or anything, but you have to look at things in a way that will benefit your mind. Truly benefit, not like
Oh yeah.
some bullshit. As long as it benefits your mind and it's righteous, then that's all you
Yeah.
really need to do.
Yeah, also, like, a good way to, I guess, picture this is like, instead of you being the center of the universe, or like me, from my perspective, it would be me. From your perspective, it would be you. And if somebody's watching this, then it would be from their perspective. That's their perspective, is their center of their universe, right?
Right.
The idea would be the idea to maybe visualize this is to take a step back and imagine that the center of the universe is in your hand and you're looking at it, right? Not so. In trading terms, you wouldn't ask yourself, why did my market stop me out, bro? Like, why is market stop hunting all of a sudden? You know, market isn't stop hunting, bro. Okay, hold up. Market does stop hunt, but it stop hunts everybody,
Yeah.
right? If you're in a trade long enough, you're probably going to get stopped out at some point. Like,
Well, yeah, it just happens.
yeah, like, and
But
this could be over the course of years or something, but like, if you envision the universe or the center of the universe is in your hand, like, you're investigating more. You're not so worried about
just sit back and
the
observe.
personal aspect of it. It's like the loss isn't personal to you. It's more, or that's where it becomes a lesson, because it's not personal to you. You're able to analyze it and critique it,
Right.
and critique what went wrong.
Just observe and take notes. Honestly, that's the only thing you really can do when it comes to trading. Is we are simply just observers. Until
I mean,
the time
that's
comes,
very
we
true.
click a button, and then set our limits.
That's all we do.
And then we observe.
Yep.
So that's a good analogy. Thinking about, not you're the center of the universe. You have the universe in your hand, and you're looking at it and watching things happen.
Yeah.
And that's just a good way for life in general, honestly. Just take that step back and observe, is this right? Is this a benefit? Is this destroying me? Is it deterring my mind? Am I adding to the negative balance sheet of positive and negative things that I do in my life?
Yeah, and that's something cool to bring up too, because you also brought up earlier how you want trading to affect your outside life in a positive light, which would in turn affect your trading in a positive light. It could go hand in hand. And having this mindset will do the same exact thing as that. It'll, you'll have that mindset throughout everything, or with everything you do, and then you're like, okay, well, shit, this is benefiting me a lot, but because you have that mindset, you don't think about the benefits. You're always a student. You're always going to be okay with your losses, because even the best traders, they lose.
Yeah.
There's not a single good trader that doesn't lose. Okay,
It's
that
just being able
doesn't
to
get stopped
deal
out.
with that, deal with the losses.
Exactly. The only motherfucking traders that don't fucking get stopped out are like J.P. Morgan and shit, and Warren Buffett.
They get the calls from Trump.
Yeah. He's like, yo, just sell everything now.
Pause and tariffs, hold up, bye.
Yeah. Nah, but yeah, I mean, that's the thing though. If you know what you're looking at, you can really do stuff with this. You can really get somewhere with this. You can risk somebody's whole yearly fucking salary, bro. If you
bro, did you see this recent trade?
200 something thousand, 250, I think.
And then he got stopped at break even.
I know, bro.
It was in
I know, that part is so
like
crazy.
215, and then he got stopped at break even.
I know, bro. I would have crashed the fuck out, bro. I would have been like, what the hell, bro?
That's tough.
I mean,
I mean,
That's why he's where he is, though.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but that's why he's where he's at. You know, he didn't like, destroy shit and throw a hissy fit. He definitely was pissed off. I could see that, but
And bro's posted videos of him losing 80K, 100K. So
yeah,
he's built psychologically completely. And you
yeah, he
have
can
to be to
withstand
get to
it.
that level.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you go in a trade, the money's on fire at that point. It's burning. It's not yours no more.
It's burning.
It's not like, yep.
And it's
But even if it's growing, it could burn 2 seconds later. You gotta be like,
or it could have grown 1,000, and then you're like, yeah, now it's at 200.
yeah,
Now it's breaking.
that could be it too. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Like but that's the beauty of it, though. Like, there's so much opportunity in this, and
that's what I need to focus on more than anything is setups like this, like we had today. There's gonna be one next week. There's gonna be one maybe another time this week. There's gonna be one the week after it. These perfect fucking just beautiful trades, they naturally happen and always will happen in the markets. And
it's happened time in and time out again.
You just have to stick to following that and finding that. Sure, they won't all turn out to be this beautiful. Can't expect that.
It will never be exactly the same.
And the A+ could lose. But sticking with that
that's the
takes you and gives you progress.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why setups work, because they are tested occurrences that reoccur in the market. And it's just up to the trader to spot it. Yeah. That's all it is. That's probably why a lot of traders can maybe resonate with reading too, because you are reading essentially. But this is like a language. Like, you ever look at like Chinese shit and you're just like, what the fuck is on the screen or on like the fucking whatever, wherever you're reading it. That's how I first thought, like, last year, bro. I would look at this shit. I'm like, what is this Chinese bullshit?
And
but
then, like, you zoom
the
out,
truth
you
is,
can't even see anything. But like, I could look.
I know,
and
but
make out what's where.
Exactly. It all looks like scribbles, like that are going up and down. But that's the beauty of reading, bro.
You learn more words.
Yeah, especially in that case. Yeah, it works well, bro.
And you learn how to throw them in different sentences. Different settings.
Yeah, why the fuck did I... Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
I've got another quote here from another
Alright, let's see it.
philosopher, Seneca. Have you heard of?
I've heard of him, yeah.
Alright, so it goes, we must give up many things to which we are addicted, considering them to be good, otherwise courage will vanish. Which should continually test itself. Wait, I read that wrong. Otherwise courage will vanish, which should continually test itself. Testing your courage.
Mm-hmm.
Greatness of soul will be lost, which can't stand unless it disdains as petty what the mob regards as most desirable. Do you understand that last part?
So I think I think so. If I understand that correctly, he's talking about basically, like, you don't really want to go the route as everybody else, right?
Exactly. You don't.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
You should feel petty for the mob, and for that you're following it, what they feel is most desirable, what's going to get them the biggest amount of dopamine, what are they addicted to?
Yeah, it's good you bring that up. Well, because off camera we were talking a little bit about the effects of marijuana or weed, on your mental, and quite frankly your physical. That shit does affect you in more ways than just your mental, capacity or whatever. So, like,
it makes you more physically exhausted too.
Yeah, especially the day after. Like, it's bad, man. Like, the brain fog's a real thing. People hate on it, or people are like, well, I don't get brain fog.
This morning hack will.
Yeah, nah. Nothing stops brain fog, bro. Nothing.
Yeah, it just means your brain's got clogged up with bullshit that's preventing you from doing what you truly should be.
Yeah, your dopamine receptors are fried, bro. That's kind of what it is. Like, to at least, and then it takes a little bit
you get that easy dopamine from doing that kind of stuff, especially frequently. And then when it comes to
Yeah.
sticking to something long term and it doesn't provide you with that dopamine hit, because it's not working in the moment, it's taking more time than
Yeah.
you expected, you're gonna fail. You're not just fail, but you're gonna end up quitting if you end up
Yeah.
going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. No, that's very true. It's also important to mention though, some people are able to pull that shit off. I don't know how. Me personally, I can't. You know, it's not good, especially when you're sober. Like it just fucking sucks. Then you know if you're in that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And so I can't personally pull it off, but some people are able to. But
What,
it is important.
fog? Or what do you mean?
No, like just being stoners, bro. Like I guess always being under the influence, right?
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is a little bit nuts. It's very nuts. But you know, it is. I don't think it's necessarily good for your mind though, because you're getting your dopamine from an outside source, and then you're just leveling out your mind. You're not gaining dopamine. Like you're just staying level. You know. Whereas if you don't smoke regularly, you know your dopamine's up here.
And it
If you smoke regularly,
does stunt
you
your
know.
cognitive behavior.
It does. Yes, that's very true. That's why I would never trade under the influence ever.
Yeah, bro. I probably would just end up laughing if I kind of trade. I don't know.
Yeah,
Just do
no.
some dumb shit if I was high and traded.
Yeah. What happens if I full port right now?
Don't want to try. But I wrote to that quote. What we consider to be harmless or fine indulgences can easily become full-blown addictions. We start with coffee in the morning, then soon enough we can't start the day without it. The little compulsions and drives we have not only chip away at our freedom and sovereignty, they cloud our clarity. We think we're in control, but are we really? What the addiction is may vary: soda, drugs, complaining, gossip, the internet, caffeine. You must reclaim your ability to abstain because within it is your clarity and self-control. So just
Do you think it's possible?
Go ahead.
Huh? I was going to ask a question about your question, basically, or your statement. Do you think it's possible to abstain from all addictions?
I feel like if you, it's a deep rabbit hole because
Yeah.
the way everything gives you dopamine.
Yeah.
Breathing air gives you dopamine, especially if you go through a big enough detox. You'll probably
Yeah.
get dopamine from breathing.
Your phone. I mean, fuck your phone.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. I don't think I could live without my phone. I could live with. I mean, I could do a day or a few days without it, but I mean, at some point, I'm gonna want to be on my phone and text people, or you know.
Like this
Like-
recent camping trip, genuinely just used my phone for pictures and I ended up dropping that shit in the river.
Yeah, and then you really couldn't use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it felt so weird being home and not being able to use my phone. Like then I did
Really?
feel addicted, honestly, looking back at it. Felt like I needed something.
Yeah.
Like I needed my screen or something, to be honest. Needed to text people, because we rely on it for so much now. Even
I
just
mean, yeah,
looking at the weather, seeing what
Yeah, I mean-
it's gonna be, what to wear.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it feels nice outside, but you never know if it's gonna start thundering or raining or some shit. You just never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely that's such a hard one though. I personally don't think it's possible to never I guess not be addicted to something,
Yeah.
or to not to always be addicted. Because at the end of the day,
And then
we get hung.
if
Huh?
you're not addicted to anything, what do you live for? Like
Yeah, addiction is purpose in a sense.
yeah, like I'm addicted to trading because I'm focused on it. It's more of like an obsession. People call it, when it's something that is a goal, they call it obsession. When it's bad, they call it addiction.
Oh, that's a good. And that's okay.
I
Shit, we can
just
segue
realized
the.
that.
yeah, we can segue this too. So we can segue this back to what we were talking about perspective, because people will say that about trading, where like trading ain't good. You're yeah, gambling. You know what? A funny thing, we mentioned that I was on a walk with this dude, right? Or not with him, but like I was with my girl and we were walking around my neighborhood. This dude with his wife was there and we were talking, and then I was telling him like I wanted to invest in stocks and shit, and he kept saying you can't beat the stock market. And I was thinking to myself, you're right, you don't, but you're not supposed to beat it. You're supposed to join it.
Yeah, you have to follow it. That's the thing.
And he was talking about it like as if it was a gamble, when it's not a gamble. I mean, it can be, but if you pay attention to the news enough, you can definitely,
like, as soon as Trump
profit.
came out with that tariff shit, sell. Like, it genuinely, you just had to sell there.
Yeah, instantly. And then when he paused it, that was probably the best time to buy.
Went up 10% that fucking day. Like,
oh yeah, so a few days before, yeah. But of course we wouldn't have known that, but J.P. Morgan knew. His ass fucking knew. I know he did.
He definitely knew.
But
made a B off that.
But yeah, like, oh yeah, he milked the fuck out of that. But yeah, I mean, that's just one of them things, you know.
It's all about your perspective.
Yeah, because to a crackhead, finding crack every day, that's not a bad thing. They do that shit every day. They love doing it.
And that makes them feel good.
Or maybe they don't. Maybe they don't love it, but...
Yeah, there's some addicts that are aware and they just hate it. That is true.
Yeah, but...
I don't know about crack, though. I feel like most people are probably fiending for that.
Yeah, I mean... Never personally indulged, so who knows? But... Bro, I don't know. I don't even think it's possible for us to get to that point. I mean...
I know I can't try it, bro.
Oh, bro, I would never consider trying it, bro. I already know nothing in my... If I'm hanging around with motherfuckers that do crack, I'm hanging around with the wrong people. So... Alright, so do you think we could do one more question and then wrap this up?
That sounds good.
Alright, bet.
And I have a kind of summary of all my thoughts, so you could do one more.
Okay, bet. Yeah, we can run that. We can do that too. Fuck, we kind of went over everything. Let me just see. Maybe I have something else written down. Okay. Well, yeah, I kind of already asked all my questions. Well, okay. Here's one. So, given our current situation, right? Because we're young, you know, we're not old. We still live with our parents and shit. You know, we're just trying to get to the point where we can get out and, you know, go in the world and shit.
Start the life of our own.
Yeah. Do you see like do you think that this is something that anybody can do? Like that anybody with the right mindset and the right with the right I guess confluence maybe, or the right strategy. Do you think anybody can do this, or is this just something for certain individuals?
That's honestly a really tough question.
If you want, I can answer that question.
I think anybody can do it. It just takes, in some people's cases, completely rebuilding yourself. You have to make yourself new to be able to conquer something you've never done before.
Especially something this difficult.
Yeah. And something this providing. It's
yeah, to me...
If it was, everybody would fucking do it, and everybody would be millionaires. But it's not.
Yeah. See, like, that's the thing. The reason why I don't think everybody can do it is because it is something that takes a lot of patience, and people don't have that anymore, first off. People don't have patience anymore. I don't have patience. But if everybody could do this, if everybody could have a strategy that would win them, get them wins, or if everybody had the right psychology, then everybody would make money. But then, because that's the situation, nobody would make money. There would be no way for market to, because market moves, you know. Right, market moves off or liquidity manipulation, pushing the equilibrium, and I think there's one more, right?
It's
Target liquidity,
rebalance.
imbalances, I think.
Yeah.
Rebalance inefficiencies.
Yeah,
Yes.
rebalance inefficiencies. That's what.
Yeah. So that's the reason why market moves. But if everybody knows that, then
And trading
markets wouldn't move.
Yeah, because
It just wouldn't work.
the only way that we make money is because it came out of somebody else's fucking pocket.
Right. We're basically. No, we're not criminals. Every time I trade, I hope that one day I'll be taking some rich guy's money, bro.
I mean, some of the times
Some
you're taking money
douchebags money.
from big investors. Like, especially, like, we profited on the big investors that were, or like probably more like swing traders that were in on these 1 hour lows.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We really did.
And then
And the highs,
stopped
too,
them all out and then ran them up.
Same thing though. People thought it was going to continue down, and boom, went right back up.
Yeah. Yeah, it
So-
stopped out anybody trying to go with that kind of trend.
Yeah, I feel like that would be more like, just like following the like that's the thing. Following the trend doesn't always work.
Yeah, no, you're gonna break structure to the downside and then rebalance back up. Or vice versa.
Yeah, to move lower, we need to move higher. Or to move higher, we need to move lower.
So it's always
But-
gonna be shifting, the trend.
Always, yeah.
And like
Markets
even-
they're not
we're
flat.
getting change in state on the hour. But does that mean we're bearish? No. Just means that we're
No, but we did
rebalancing.
wick it though, right? We wicked it with that 1 hour there. That was pretty good. Honestly, like you could have gotten in on that too, but that would just be off of the change of state though on the 1 hour.
Yeah. I'm talking about like for shorts. It would,
Oh, for shorts?
It would have been presented itself for shorts. Actually, it did. Oh! It respected 1 hour change in state. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, quite a bit. That would have been honestly. I mean, at that point, that would be like a one contract trade where you just shoot for the moon. Honestly,
Yeah. Like if
put
you're
your stop
thinking
at
about an
pretty
hour
close.
change in state, that's crazy. That's like
Yeah, that's pretty good. Hey man, look, yeah, I mean, I know those dudes make some good money too sometimes. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
It's just not as frequently, but yeah. So to wrap this up, what were your final thoughts then? As you said, you had a list of some stuff.
Basically, I'll just read it. Stoics exercise the idea and importance of what we are in control of and what we are not. So, what are we in control of? Our decisions, your decision to bow to your impulses and addictions, decisions to act on emotions, decision to step back and analyze our actions before partaking in them. And you will soon realize that it's not what you truly want. Understanding what is in our control gives us better clarity. Though you may still feel very tempted, just know all we have is our mind, and if you are stepping back and analyzing what you're about to do before you actually do it, you'll find out most of the time that you're making a stupid mistake and just doing a bad action that once again is leading to that negative side of the balance sheet of positive and negative things you're doing in your life.
Okay.
And the more you put on that positive balance sheet, the more mentally you're more confident in your abilities, you're more
Yeah. that's
aware
true.
and able to act on what you were speaking about most of the time. If you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
That's the hardest thing, like I would say, out of any journey, though, is actually acting on what you're saying. You know, you can say, oh, I'll be here, I'll be there, but people aren't going to believe you unless you get there, unless you start getting those little victories, you know.
But you gotta remember, anybody who's doubting you, they're right 99% of the time. But who becomes right in the end?
The person who keeps going.
Just don't let doubt or people not believing in you hold you back from anything.
Yeah. Anybody that thinks that you can't do it is just fuel for you to, it's just a reason for you to do it.
Prove them wrong.
That's all it is. It's just a
But they're
reason
gonna
to
be
do
right
it.
99% of the time, and you have to know that.
Yeah.
You have to.
But
break
again,
through
but yeah.
that 1%.
Yeah. And even if you are part of that 99%, you know, if you're if your drive is strong enough, you can still fail and still be part of that 1%. You just need to find that thing that you're that 1% in. That's really what it is.
Completely failing? Well, there is no real failing until you give up. Then you failed.
True. True. Lessons until you give up.
Like, how many times have you failed reps in the gym? Still got bigger.
Almost every fucking time, bro. Almost every time I fucking go.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, shit. That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good analogy. How many trades have you lost before you started to see your strategy? Right.
Yeah, bro. When you're first trying to figure this shit out and you're throwing these confluences together, you don't know jack shit what you're doing. It's hard.
Nothing, bro.
But when you start to understand it, then the bigger problem comes in.
What's the psychology, right? Yeah. That's the fucking hardest part, bro. But you know what? It's the part that's also the most important, right?
Yeah. You learn all these skills so you see, you know the markets are abundant. There is millions of dollars being able to be printed in every little movement of these charts.
Yeah.
You just can't think about that and just focus on the rules.
Yeah. The rules are there to protect you, make you money.
So hopefully you have them.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That was a good talk. Fuck, hold up.